Hello and welcome to Rising Coaches with Sofia Bernardi. So today is my monthly goals progress update episode, which I look forward to every month, and I receive a lot of messages from you guys looking forward to these episodes as well. Even one of my best friends, after listening to these episodes, gives me a summary of her takeaways and lessons and feedback, and it's just so beautiful. So thank you so much for all of the positive feedback I'm getting on these. I like to be as transparent as possible. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about yet and you're new to my world, hi, I'm Sofia Bernardi. I'm a mindset and business coach for ambitious female coaches wanting to create the level of income, impact and freedom that they're after. And if you want to learn more about what these monthly update episodes are, then I'm going to link in the show notes the previous episodes so that you can listen to them, because every single month this year I have given a bit of a life update, my biggest wins and lessons, and I've shared with you what my goals have been for 2024 and where I'm at with them. So with that being said, in summary, my goals for 2024 is to have a 600k cash year, to weigh 65 kilos, to go on weekly date nights and an annual trip away with my partner, to invest $100,000 in shares and have 30,000 podcast downloads on the podcast. So I'm going to share with you very shortly where I'm at with all of those, and this episode is a really exciting update. But first, I'm going to just go through the summary of June 2024. It is currently the 30th of June, so I'm filming this on the very last day of the month, and the reason I'm doing it today is because later today I'm actually flying to Europe with two of my best friends for 3 weeks, which is just wild to me. So I thought I would record this episode today before I go away so that I can upload it for you guys ASAP. So let's summarize June, as it's been a very abundant month. Firstly, at the very beginning of the month, Geordie, my partner, his brother visited from Adelaide over here to Brisbane, and him and his girlfriend stayed in Brisbane for a few nights, and we all went to Ben Howard's concert together, which was just incredible. I also went away with Geordie and his team to an Airbnb for the week, because for his company, he was at some, what is it called? Like event for the week, let's just say, and I thought I would come along for the ride and just work in a different location for the week in the Airbnb. So it was really cute to get away out in the country and just have a different environment, because I really thrive under that. I also spent 3 hours one weekend helping my accountant, which was really cool, with her launch for a new offer of hers. So it was so fun to be able to help someone that also helps me in my business, which is awesome. I was really consistent with exercise and working out this month, which is great. Also, if you did listen to May's monthly update, again, it'll be linked below. In the episode, I was just listening back to it. I was mentioning how, I was about to go away, and so, with Geordie for that company event, and I said, in the car, we're going to plan our next trip, and that's exactly what we did. We planned our quarterly getaway, because we do that every quarter, and we booked it and we went the following weekend. So that's what we did in June. We went away to this very cute Airbnb for the weekend. It was like a tiny cabin out in the middle of nowhere, and we had so much fun. So I love that I said that to you in that episode, and then that day we went and booked it and went the following week. So basically, Geordie and I like to do at least one date night every week. Every quarter we like to go away for a weekend, and then once a year we like to go away for a holiday for at least a week. So we have that routine, and we're really, really solid in it. And so, yeah, we did our quarterly trip, and it was the best. Then the very next day after that, I flew to New Zealand for the week, lots of travel, and I went for a whole week, and I went and visited one of my best friends who I hadn't met in person before. She's also a coach in this industry. I've actually interviewed her on my podcast before as well. So we've been connected for a couple of years now, but gotten really close over the last year, and it was just about time that we met in person. So I flew to New Zealand, stayed with her and her family for the week, which was incredible, and we had so much fun, and they just treated me so well and showed me around everywhere in New Zealand and had the best time. And so that was just the other week. And then this last week I've been in Brisbane, and I've just been doing some final touches before going to Europe. But then also midway through this week, one of my best friends flew from Adelaide to Brisbane because we are flying to Europe together. So it's been this mixture of like getting those last things done, but then also like showing one of my best friends around Brisbane. So been doing that this week, which has been so much fun. And this weekend, so it's currently Sunday, yesterday and today, I've done a 3-hour workshop each day for my clients. So it's something I do for them every quarter, as we have this quarterly weekend intensive, and we just go so deep on a particular topic. And my clients loved it. Like, it makes me emotional. They were so grateful. You know, I even had a breathwork facilitator come, and everyone was just so grateful for how much they learned. And, you know, some of the ladies even said today on the call that I just wrapped up, they said, you know, the entire investment for this mastermind is made just from attending one of these quarterly events. And as you can hear, I do them quarterly. So it's extremely valuable, which makes me very, very happy. So I just finished that. And then I literally go to Europe tonight. So it's currently 1 p.m. as I'm filming this. And by 6 p.m. I will be at the airport. Isn't that crazy? So it's been a very full month of travel, to be honest, and a lot of fun things, and hasn't felt very business related. But all in between that, I've been batch recording podcast episodes, creating a lot of content, filming a lot of ads, and doing all these things so that I have that organized for while I'm away in Europe for the next 3 weeks as of tonight, which is super, super exciting. So I've been super organized, and I've also been living my best life. So June has been very, very cool. I would say my top 3 biggest wins for this month has been traveling at the same time as supporting my clients and signing new clients. That's been really cool to like show myself that that's been possible. And I'm really glad I got New Zealand as a bit of a test run for that, because obviously I'm going to Europe for 3 weeks. And so anything I could learn from that situation to prepare me for Europe has been really, really helpful. So that was really great. My second biggest win is probably that I got a lot clearer on the specifics of where I'm at with my goals, so that I can not only reach them, but also articulate it so much better on these episodes, because I've noticed from listening back to these monthly goal update episodes for you guys that I've sometimes like not really knowing where I've been at with certain goals and having the specific information. So I got a lot clearer on that recently, which is a huge win. And then I would say the third win is that I moved CRMs like this month, which is very messy and like doesn't really feel like a win, but I know long term that it is. Like, it's always messy moving from one email marketing provider to another and so forth, but we've done this because the business is scaling and we just need more advanced things. And then also, instead of having like 5 different softwares, we've been able to like get it all into one, which is really cool. So I'm going to say that that's a win, even though it's felt really messy. And I finalized, or me and my team finalized an evergreen funnel that we've put a lot of time, love, and energy into to get it right. So that's probably the biggest wins. And then the biggest lessons is that, and this is something that's only come up for me actually in like the last 48 hours properly, is that in order for me to continue to scale, at some point I'm going to need to hire like a salesperson to take my sales calls, because if I want to be signing high ticket clients whilst I'm traveling or whilst I'm away, or even just being able to do that at a more scalable level, I'm going to need someone to do that. Like, it's not going to be sustainable for me to do all of these sales calls all of the time. So, you know, for example, because I'm going to Europe for the next 3 weeks, like, it's going to be a lot more unpredictable for me in terms of when I'm going to be able to do sales calls, because I'm going to be with 2 of my friends and we're going to be in different countries all of the time and so forth. And so, you know, that's been something that, you know, I'm going to have to learn how to navigate. So that's one thing. Second thing is, I've just realized more recently how truly important storytelling and long form content really is. It's just becoming increasingly more important, especially now that AI and things like that are around. So that's been a big lesson, is to tap way more into that. And then the third biggest lesson is to really take a breather before I respond to people. Sometimes I definitely can react rather than respond to certain messages and so forth. And nothing majorly bad, by the way. I just have a high standard for myself of realizing, if someone, says something or whatever that isn't so great, I just really need to ground myself before I respond so that it's going to come from the best place possible. So they're probably the three biggest lessons from June. Now, let me summarize where I'm at with my goals. So like I said, earn 600K cash for the year, weigh 65 kilos, book an annual trip with Geordie, invest $100,000 in shares, and get 30,000 podcast downloads. So let's start with the 600K cash goal. I was just listening back to last month's episode of this, and I don't know what I was saying. I'm not saying it was wrong, like it was correct information, but it wasn't very specific in terms of like where I was actually at with it. So I've gone ahead and gotten a lot clearer on this over the last couple of weeks so that moving forwards, I have the clarity that I need to be able to know this for myself, but also articulate it to you guys, because that's what I've said I'm doing. So I worked out like how much I've earned in cash for the year, like that's landed in my bank account. And I now know exactly how much I have projected to come for the remainder of the year for people that are on the payment plans. And so when you if I was to look at all of that, so money that's come in and money that is going to be coming in for the rest of the year, I've now been able to get clear on how much money in new sales do I need to actually make in order to reach this goal of $600,000. And I've worked out that I now need to make $202,000. So essentially by the end of this year, 400 grand would have come in if I don't do anything else. So I essentially need to make $202,000 in the next 6 months, because we're exactly halfway through the year. That feels very doable for me, considering that is what I have done and more already in the first half. So that makes me feel really, really good. So I've gone and calculated that. Okay, so $202,000 in new money. What does that look like? Well, that looks like $35,500 every single month in addition to what I already have coming in. So new cash for the next 6 months. And that's really good, because for me that's that's like 3 mastermind clients, or it's quite a number of clients in my Rise to Coach course. But I've worked out in total I need to have 18 mastermind clients sign, or it would be 67 Rise to Coach clients based on the current investment, which likely will go up before the end of the year anyways, but this is where it's currently at. And so now, rather than me feeling like I'm super far away, I actually see like this is actually very achievable. So I feel like very much on track. I can make 35,500 in new sales every month for the rest of the year. I feel solid in that. It's still a stretch, don't get me wrong, especially because I'm about to go to Europe for 3 weeks and I'm not going to be doing as many sales calls or things like that. So a lot of it will be in the DMs at this point, and I really need to train myself that like that's safe and okay and possible and all of those things. But yeah, I'm doing that. So it's still a stretch, but it definitely feels possible now that I've gotten actually clear on that, the exact numbers. And a task that I'm going to be giving to my VA is to be tracking, like she goes through all my finances for me and updates me on the total, sales and cash collected and the projections and all that sort of stuff. But in addition, what I'm going to get her to do now is actually summarize each month the total number of new clients and which programs, so I know how much in new cash I've made, not just total sales, because that's a mixture of, from this year and whatever else. And I need to look at like how much more I need to make to reach my goal, if that makes sense. So I'm going to get her to help me with that, which I'm really excited about. I'm still going to stay on top of it myself, but it's really good to have 2 people doing that so that it's definitely accurate. I'm also going to be focused on, so I guess like that's where I'm at with the finances of that. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to be launching 3 more events for the rest of the year. And I'm also going to be doing a really no-brainer offer invitation to all of my Rise to Coach clients to upgrade into the mastermind. And now that we're finally getting the ads to work better and better, I suspect that will obviously help a lot as well, especially with our evergreen funnel that we have going on that's currently converting. So feeling really solid on this, but I'm mindful that I'm going away for 3 weeks And so we'll just see. So it feels like a stretch, but it also feels like very possible. So very, very happy with that now that I have the clarity. Second goal is about weighing 65 kilos. So I would need, if I was, to still like go ahead with that, I would need to lose 14 kilos. Now that feels like a lot, if I'm being completely honest. So we'll just see. So it makes me nervous in terms of losing that amount. That's, in the past taken me like over a year to do, because I've gone a very, very sustainable route. But it also is, I don't like look at my body and feel like, wow, I need to be 14 kilos lighter by any means. So, maybe, with putting on muscle and things all playing a role, I don't feel like I actually need to lose that much after all. I'm feeling really confident in my body, but if I was to go ahead and follow through with that goal, I would need to lose 2.3 kilos every month for 6 months. And that feels like a stretch because that's not what I've been doing this year. Like it's more been like 1 kilo a month. So I'll just see how I go. But I'm about to travel Europe for 3 weeks, and whilst I'll be eating out more and eating different things, we'll also be walking and moving so much because we'll be exploring. So I think that will actually be really good, but I also won't be going to the gym and things like that like I have been while I've been here. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens, but I think drinking more water, walking around a lot, you lose weight, but who knows? We could also have lots of bowls of pasta in Italy, right? So we'll just see, but I'm basically what's coming up for me here is I'm thinking maybe 65 kilos is like maybe too light with muscle, like with putting on muscle, because I've been that weight before, but I was like more skinny than I was strong, whereas like I want to be fit, lean and strong. So maybe it might be like more like 70 kilos that I feel good at, which in that case I just need to lose 8 kilos, which would be half the amount. So, I think I'm just going to like keep trying to lose weight and do so in a really sustainable way where I'm still having dessert with my partner. I'm still living my life and not feeling like I'm holding back in any way. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to update, on the next month, how that goes after having been away for 3 weeks without my gym, but moving around a lot in terms of walking and exploring and, just eating out and things like that. But I suspect we'll be getting a lot of steps in. So that's something I'm really excited for. But a plan of attack that I do have in place that, is fun and exciting for me is I'm going to do 75 hard again. I've done it before. I have a podcast episode of my big wins and takeaways from that. I completed it the first round. When I set a goal, I usually achieve it. And so I've done it before, but I'm going to do it with 2 of my friends that I go to the gym with. We're doing it in September though. So I'm kind of like a bit casual, I'm just going to just keep listening to my body, to be honest, and just doing what I need to do, and whatever happens. I know that that's probably not the best approach, but I just don't want to be overthinking this goal for the next 3 weeks while I'm, traveling Europe. Like I just want to enjoy Europe, and I'm just going to trust that I listen to my body and my body knows what's best, and that's all that actually matters. But I'm going to be being super consistent at the gym and with my eating when I get back as well, because I won't be going on more trips and things like that. And then I'm going to be doing 75 hard in September with 2 of my friends, which is going to be so much fun. I'm going to really be focused on drinking a lot of water as well, as I feel like I've let that go a little bit. Haven't been drinking as much. So that's kind of my plan of attack there. So I'm just kind of going to gauge whether that's still the goal I want, just dependent on how everything pans out. But I'm going to keep it for now. As for my annual trip with Geordie, so we've been going so well with our weekly date nights. We've been going so well with our quarterly trips away, but now we need to plan our weekly annual trip. And I spoke about this in last week's episode, that we were thinking about Thailand, but what I also said in that episode is we'll likely book it quite last minute. So no actions are being taken towards that right now. We're just going to keep up with our date nights and everything. And our communication will just have to be really strong while I'm in Europe for 3 weeks away. We'll have to have some virtual dates. So that's what's happening there in terms of my relationship goal. In terms of my investing $100,000 in shares, I'm 100% going to reach that goal. I've been super consistent on the first of every month, investing, over around $8,500 in my shares. But I also made some big leaps with my investing recently. I actually sold all of the shares that I was no longer feeling aligned with. Did take some losses there, but I really flipped my perspective of like, it's not actually a loss. I'm putting it into something that's going to allow me to gain. So it was an intentional decision, a strategic decision, and I feel really, really aligned with it. So I sold a lot of shares and I reinvested them into what I really trust and what matches my long-term goals, rather than these shares that I bought 4 years ago when I was uneducated and just listening to what other people told me to do. So now that I'm educated, I made that decision, was willing to walk away from some money there, but I feel really, really good about it. So I've, reinvested a lot recently, and all good for July as well, which is awesome. And then my final goal is I need to get about 14,500 more podcast downloads in order to reach my goal. So there's still a fair bit to go, but what I'm going to be doing to do that is we're going to run ads to the podcast, and I'm going to do a podcast giveaway. So I'm going to have to find some time in the rest of the year where I want to do that, but probably sooner rather than later, I suppose. I'll have 24 hours of flying time on the plane later today to think about all of those sorts of things, and I would just really like to do that to grow the podcast as much as possible. So that, my friends, is my monthly update. In a nutshell, June was a lot of fun, a lot of traveling and adventure and variety and exploring. I feel very, very happy, very grounded. I feel very relaxed about going away on holiday. Really glad I ran this amazing quarterly weekend intensive for my clients. They were just so thankful and grateful, and I'm so happy that they feel really clear and aligned and know what they're doing. And it's just a great way for me to end this weekend before I now go away for 3 weeks. I'm still going to be supporting all of my clients as per usual. They know that, and I feel really good about that. And that's, ultimately, I want to be able to create a lifestyle, when I have created a lifestyle where I can travel and I can grow my business and I can support my clients all equally. And, I want to be a walking example for my clients that, if I can do it, they can do it. And so everything's going to be resuming as per normal. And yeah, that's June. So feeling on track with all of them. I'll be honest, probably the goals that feel the most stretchy at this point is the podcast downloads and losing 14 kilos. The money goal, I trust at this point. Relationship with Geordie, completely trust. Investing in shares, done deal. So it's really the podcast downloads that feel 14,500, people listening, or at least listening to one episode, that's a lot for me. So I need to sort that out. And in terms of losing weight, whilst doing it in a way that truly is feeling really good for me, I think 75 hard will help. I think, walking around a lot more will help, and being consistent at the gym will all help. But 14 kilos feels like a huge, huge stretch. But what makes me feel okay with that goal is that I'm very happy with my body right now. I feel very content. I feel very healthy and energized. I have a great immune system, great gut health. I wake up and I have a lot of energy to do a lot of things. And I think at the end of the day, that's what matters. But I do have goals where I feel like I could, look even better, and I want to move towards that. And so, I don't feel this urgency or this pressure. As long as I'm progressing, I'm happy. But, I also set this goal and I want to honor it and give it my all. So, it's going to be a balancing act. So I feel really good about 3 of the goals, and I feel nervous about reaching 2 of the others, but we'll see. That's why I'll keep updating you. We're halfway through the year. A lot can change in 6 months. I'm very happy with the first 6 months, so God knows what's going to be possible for the next. I hope that these episodes are helping you. If they are, please, please, please come message me on Instagram. I'm at Sofia Rose Bernardi. Let me know your biggest takeaways, your thoughts. It means so, so much to me. Please share the episode if you got value out of it to your Instagram stories and tag me, and I will share it back. And also, I hope that you listening to these episodes gives you that little nudge in the right direction to review your goals and to review where you're at, because ultimately that's what's going to be most important for you. So yeah, I'm going to love and leave you all. I'm going to get ready for my Europe trip, and I'll speak to you in next week's episode. If you thoroughly enjoyed this episode, I'd greatly appreciate it if you could take a moment to hit that subscribe button. Your support fuels our mission to bring you even more valuable content every week. It truly means the world to me. My promise to you is that if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, I'll continue making incredible episodes such as this every week to help you to grow and scale your coaching business. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.